Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you've ever opened your inbox and felt that sudden, sinking spike of anxiety about clicking the wrong link, trust me, you are definitely not alone. Billions of dollars, literally billions, are lost globally to phishing every single year. But today, we're flipping the script. We're taking the power back by totally demystifying how these attacks actually work. And here is the absolute best part, the real secret. You do not need a degree in computer science to protect yourself. No way. We're going to break this down step by step so you can navigate your digital life with complete confidence.
Okay, let's dive into this. Scammers target your emotions, not your IQ. Really let that sink in for a second, right? Because it completely changes how we approach cybersecurity. We usually have this fear that hackers are using some brilliant, complex computer code to silently break into our lives. But in reality, the vast majority of these attacks are just psychological tricks. They are actively trying to outsmart your feelings, not your firewall.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First up, emotions over tech skills. Second, the phishing hook explained. Third, spotting the red flags. And finally, number 4, the pause rule. Super manageable, right?
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Emotions over Tech Skills.
So phishing emails almost always pretend to be from someone you trust, maybe a big company, your bank, or even a government agency. It's entirely about deception. As you can see with the fake and fact cards on screen, it's all about blurring that line between what's real and what's a scam. Think of it exactly like someone knocking on your front door wearing a remarkably good but totally fake delivery uniform. If they look the part, you might just open the door without a second thought, and that's exactly what they're banking on.
Which leads us nicely to Section 2, the phishing hook explained. Let's look at how this scam actually operates in practice.
Here's the formal definition we'll be working with today. Phishing refers to scams designed to hook emotional reactions before people slow down and think carefully. Listen, the whole goal, the entire point of the person sending you that message is to completely bypass your logical brain. If they can trigger a quick emotional response, whether that's excitement, curiosity, or just pure fear, they win.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. Just like a fish drawn to a shiny piece of bait dangling in the water, these digital scams bait us. They use messages that look highly urgent, extremely helpful, or seemingly trustworthy. The bait just looks incredibly appealing, right? It feels like something we genuinely want or even need to deal with right this second. But right beneath the surface, it is absolutely a trap.
So once they've successfully hooked your attention, what are they actually after? Well, it almost always boils down to these 3 things. They want to steal your passwords so they can take over your accounts. They want to steal your money straight out of your pocket, or they want to harvest your personal information to use in future identity theft. That is the whole endgame here.
All right, moving on to Section 3, Spotting the Red Flags. Time to empower yourself and act like a digital detective. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that we are looking at real-world evidence. This is a fake email pretending to be from Amazon Web Services. At a super quick glance, sure, it says Amazon right at the top. But look closer at that from address. It actually says Amazon Security Team 247@gmail.com. That tiny, highly deceptive detail, that is the scammer's disguise totally slipping off. You really have to train yourself to bring out the magnifying glass for this stuff. Checking who actually sent the email is completely non-negotiable. I want you to treat checking an email sender exactly the same way you would treat checking someone's ID before unlocking and opening your physical front door. I mean, if someone claims to be a police officer at your house, you check their badge, right? If an email claims to be Amazon, you absolutely have to check the address it was actually sent from. And to make this incredibly easy for you, here is a rock-solid golden rule you can always rely on. Real, established companies usually do not contact their customers from random Gmail, Yahoo, or Hotmail addresses. Think about it. A multi-billion-dollar corporation like Amazon has its own secure email system. They are definitely not out there using a free webmail account with the numbers 247 just tacked onto the end of it to handle urgent security alerts. No way.
But here's the catch. Scammers know you might notice that. So they introduce their most powerful weapon, urgency. Your account is compromised. You're losing money. Act now. They create this immense pressure because pressure causes panic. And when you're panicking, your heart races, you react fast, you don't check the sender, you just frantically want the problem to go away.
Which brings us to this crucial understanding. Threats and deadlines are designed to rush decision-making, period.
In that fake Amazon email we literally just looked at, the text specifically threatened that the user's account may be suspended within 24 hours. Let me tell you, that deadline is entirely fabricated. It is placed there solely to bypass your logic and force you into a rushed, panicked reaction. Essentially, scammers want you to feel like the sand is rapidly running out of the hourglass. They want you racing the clock. Why? Because they know for a fact that if you just pause to verify the information, their entire scam completely falls apart. Their whole business model relies on you acting in total haste.
And what exactly do they want you to do while you're in that panic state? They want you to click. When an email feels incredibly urgent, pointing you toward a verify or log in button, well, that is the exact moment you need to be highly suspicious before clicking any links.
Because as you can see here, a fake button can open a fake door. If you click that verify link, it doesn't take you to the real Amazon, not at all. It leads you straight to a fake login page that the scammer built from scratch to look exactly like the real thing. The very second you type your password into that fake page, you haven't logged in. Actually, scratch that. You've just handed your front door keys directly to the thief.
All right, let's slow things way down for Section 4, the pause rule.
I want you to think about driving a car for a second. You approach a bright red traffic light. What do? You stop. You check your surroundings. You make sure it's actually safe to proceed. You do this naturally for safe travel on the physical road. Well, you must do the exact same thing for safe travel on the internet. When you get a frantic, urgent email, consider that your digital red light.
So, the crucial point is this super simple 3-step behavioral framework. Step 1, stop. Just stop. Do not let that urgent tone rush you. Step 2, pause. Take a really deep breath and let your logical brain catch up to your emotional reaction. And step 3, verify. Look at the sender's address. Check those little details. Go directly to the company's official website in your browser instead of clicking the link they sent you in the email. Stop, pause, verify. That's it. Let's move to and see how this builds together into something incredibly reassuring. Ultimately, you really do not need to understand computers deeply to become so much safer online. The real truth? Awareness and patience are often far stronger defenses against these scams than any sort of technical expertise. I mean it. If you literally just have the patience to pause, the scammer's spell is completely broken.
Which leaves us with this final, important thought. You now know that scammers are just trying to hook your emotions. You know exactly how to look for those red flags, and you have a bulletproof 3-step framework to protect yourself. Awareness and patience are your absolute strongest defenses. So, the only question now is, the next time an urgent, threatening email lands in your inbox, will you remember to pause before opening your digital door? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.